I feel like I should start out by, are you ready to embark on this journey of my mind? That's how I feel like right now. Oh, I gotta turn this down more. I didn't realize the other day I did see a video where I was talking and the music is so low and I don't understand why the TV or why the phone picks it up so loud. It's going over my voice like that. It's on 1 right now. This is on 1. But I like it because I'm not alone. Okay, so anyways, what I was gonna say as we embark on this journey of my craziness is that, oh, one of the things is I decided like last night, it just like it came to me, it hit me like a ton of bricks, that I'm gonna, this year, the changes I'm making, I'm going to really sit down and organize my 8 journals of the, you know, because it was mostly just a lot of automatic writing and a lot of journaling of the healing and stuff. And like I had said, when I very first started doing this, that's what I thought I was going to do. I never would have thought, like, you're going to go on and you're going to go out there and put yourself out there and talk about this stuff. No. Oh my God. If my guys would have told me that, I would have been like, okay, yeah, right. You know, and it's taken a lot of healing, a lot of growth to get to this point. And it was so much like stepping into myself when I did. And it was like such a release of so many things. It's really been, I mean, stepping over your fears and doing things that you're scared of, it is so freeing. And anyway, so so all of my journals, like I had said in the beginning, like I was getting it ready to write a book, and then I got so focused on, you know, building content, and I got so excited about that. And then the TikTok, that was very time consuming, even though I still miss it, because I like to be able to go on and see what was going on around, you know. It's so weird because that astrology thing, you know, I'm seeing it, well, last night when they told me this thing, because I was thinking about the dates, because today's the 1st already, right? And it was these 3 dates, the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st, was the planetary system that is lined up. Every 18 years when it lines up, that something really bad happens. And it was like Hiroshima was one of them. I was talking about this yesterday, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know I talked about it, but I think it was to y'all. And so that it, you know, announced the 1st, and, you know, not some huge thing. So like last night I was like talking to my guides, and it was like, you know, like, oh my gosh, this is just, it feels like this just drags on and on. Like, we need movement. We need to get out of this stagnation. This is fucked. And then they showed me like Hiroshima affected that place, and then 9/11, you know, affected here. It wasn't like everywhere. So something big, major thing could be going on somewhere, and it's going to ripple effect energetically, but, you know, it's going to affect all of us. And, you know, we're all going to have things that we are healing and going through. Everybody is right now. You can't get away from it. I mean, you can try and block it. You can try and, you know, use every kind of escape route possible, but, you know, your higher self already knew you were going to do it because it's scripted. So you're only prolonging your own trauma or drama or whatever for your healing. You are, you know, only creating it to be longer, basically. Just go in and do the work as soon as you get shown something. But, you know, I'll go into that more in a minute. But anyways, so I decided, yeah, I'm going to really focus on my book this year. There's a reason why, you know, I have this, and it, you know, it's not that hard. I don't go in and edit. I don't try and like get all fancy. I mean, it's just, you know, sitting on my couch talking and documenting, and, you know, because I think it is important for us to, I mean, this is temporary, and it as, we'll need to remember this. And I feel like kind of like there is certain ones of us, I feel like I'm one of these people that is kind of like we're out in the desert right now. Like in the book of the Bible, this is the thing that comes in to show me. going through the 40 days, 40 nights or whatever. But, you're at that point where you're like, oh, Lord, why have you forsaken me? And then you're just like, you just beat down, like, oh, and then everything turns. But I feel like that has been part of why when I get to the point of looking at, like, why am I here in this place where I'm at during this time, and why am I so isolated? Why am I the only person who can see, and who understands things? So I was like, I questioned a lot, like, what the hell is going on? Now you got Stella snoring and the flute, anyways, I questioned a lot, like, what the fuck am I doing? And then because when I got this place, I thought it was for one reason. I thought I was building this little love nest. And then, everything went down, and all of a sudden I was here by myself and having to do work that I didn't know how to do. And, luckily, they were telling me how to do it and where to go and what to do and everything. And so I was productive. And when you're being productive and stuff, and you're in that, you start communicating with them. I just think a lot of people just don't realize that they are communicating because of the arrogance and all of that stuff. Like, I hear it. Well, my own thoughts. Oh, it's my thoughts. Okay. And so I think that start going off on so many different things. I'll go back to it. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna work on writing my book and focusing on that. And I was looking at this place. So when I was here, right, and I was doing all of the healing and everything, and then it has been the stuff that I have learned while I've been in this isolation, and it's all part of the healing, and it's all part of the enlightenment path, like they've been showing me that path. And I know, like I've said before, I'm, I believe I'm one of the people on a path that's holding a lantern. Like, oh, I've been this way. This is the way to go. This, watch out for that stone. Watch out for that rock over there. Kind of like that. And I think it's kind of like when you get to this certain part where you're so connected to your higher self and stuff, it's like you're compelled. Like, you don't have any choice. Like, I've learned so much about this, like, during this process of, like, this is not like where people think about manifestation and all this dime store shit we got going on, but that it is predestined. It's a scripted event. You're just here playing something out. There's certain things, yeah, you can manifest this and manifest that. Like, I do it all the time. Like, I want a fence, okay? I don't know how I'm going to get it. I'll just keep seeing it until it's there. I want this. I'll just keep seeing, like the chairs. I'll just keep seeing them until they're there. I don't know where they're coming from. I'm not going and looking and stuff. They'll just pop up and they'll be there. That, to me, is manifesting. You can't control other human beings. You can't manifest someone into your life, You can heal, you can trust, you can believe you're in alignment with certain people or whatever, but there's so much that's out of our control. And there's certain things you just can't control. But, in this new version of spirituality that's being taught by these people who are, like, I read it in a book, I read a book about it, and I know all about it now. Okay. It's, the same thing of like, oh yeah, you just raise your vibration, just do this, listen to this, and do that, and, raise your vibration, and that's it. That's the whole thing. Then you are ascended. And it's like, what? Okay. But, this group, right, this level of consciousness, like I've said, I'm witnessing it as it goes. I think there's a reason why I have this background in psychology and medical and stuff. There's a reason. Everything fits together for a reason. when you really start getting to certain points, things start making so much sense. But hopefully you can hear me over Stella snoring, and but I don't want to. Next week, supposedly, I'll be alone again, and I won't be whispering all the time. But it is, this new, the new version of spirituality that is, you just raise your vibration by listening to music and affirmations, and then manifest what you want in your life. Bring this in, bro, whatever. To me, manifesting is knowing, and it's the way you see yourself. It's a lifestyle. It's how the energy you're bringing into you. Whatever in this new version. But the thing is when I said about like the soul awakening, like starting to awaken, but when that is associated with unhealed ego, oh my gosh, the ego and arrogance and judgmental becomes associated with that. If you haven't done the work, if you're in a place in your life, let's just say, if you're in a place in your life where you feel like you need to tell other people how to run their life, you're not healed. You're not, if you are thinking you know what's best for somebody else. If you are all of these different things of there's just so many things. If you are sitting there judging, what someone else is doing and telling them, that is ego, 100%. Arrogance. Arrogance is associated with ego. And look at that right there. Boom, judgment. So what is that in this new spirituality world? What is that? Is that the woke awakening? Is that the woke spirituality? I'm not sure anymore. They're going to do what they're going to do. I believe consciousness has got, this awakening occurring, and it's all over the place. It's all over the place. Like, you think like, oh, progress, you're beginning to get in touch with your inner self. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, well, I'll tell you. I've been doing it 10 minutes and I'm the expert here. What the fuck? Okay. So, anyways, that's, just where we can begin to look at ourselves and see like, oh, catch yourself. If you are that's how you know. If somebody's doing something, saying something, expressing themselves, whatever, and you need to tell them or change them or direct them or whatever, look at yourself. Like, why do I need to do that? Why do I feel like I know better for them than they know for themselves? Like, what arrogance? Where's my judgment? Like, why would I think I understand? Because we all have an inner guidance. We have to connect to our own. We all have a perception of how we're perceiving the world, which is very different. This is one thing this has very much showed us, how different our perceptions of what is happening in the external is when it is processed in here. Another thing too that they showed me, because last night when I was laying in bed, I was having all these aches and pains, these weird ones too. And I have decided too, in this process of 2022, coming and, empowering myself. I'm going to finish my book. I'm going to fucking organize my shit. And then, and I'm going to either, if the Jubilee happens, I mean, right now, my plan is to just Airbnb this place. And like I said, I'm going to get the work done, and then I just want to do Airbnb so that I have like a passive income going. But before I said I'm going to get a van and go drive, which, that may be where we're at still in this world if we can't travel. But my plan is to get to Costa Rica and I'm just going to go move out on the beach. It's so funny, when I very first started this, I was talking about being the crazy old lady living in the woods, let people are either going to take it and they're going to understand what I'm talking about, or I'm going to be the crazy old lady who lived in the woods. to some people I am, to my family. And then now when I started to seeing it last night on the beach, I started seeing myself as this, you know, leather skinned lady in this little bikini. I feel like already I'm becoming like a Holocaust victim. All my bones are sticking out. It's like, fuck, this better hurry up. And I'll tell you, the reason is because you will find, if you start, you know, just trying to live off rice and beans, you'll find you just don't eat that much. It's just like, ugh, don't really want that. Ugh. It changes, you know, when you don't have anything good to eat, you just don't eat that much. And there's no way that when it goes, like for me, it went down right when you got to the end of your produce part. So you go into the lockdown situation, whatever, the cold front, whatever's happening here, you know, this learning experience that you go into it, you know, at the end, like, oh, I need to go to the store, we'll just go tomorrow. Oh, snowstorm, not going anywhere. So, anyways, you know, get down to the food situation. But hey, so I started seeing myself last night as this skinny old lady out there on the beach in her little tiny bikini and her leathery skin, just walking around dancing and talking to herself. I was like, I'll fucking be the crazy old lady who lives on the beach with a dog. I don't give a shit. Really, I don't. You know, I really don't. I need to change my experience at this point. It feels it's completely stagnant. It's become so clear to me, this is not my place. I mean, I don't want to deal with this kind of snow bullshit. You know, already trying to think like, I gotta prepare for next winter. I've got all of this, you know, my porch now, every time I go out there and step, because when all of a sudden it started rotting, when all of this stuff started going. And while it's in this weather crisis, one after another, you can't be out there trying to, there's snow so deep, my whole porch is like ice. I can't go out there and, like, you know, take my porch apart right now and dig down into the ground and redo the, because when I started taking off the rotten parts, I started seeing like, oh my God, the whole foundation is fucked. Like, they didn't even put it on concrete blocks. They've got it just wood in the dirt. It's fucking rotted. Now it's like every time you step, it's like, oh my God, is the whole goddamn porch gonna fall off? So I've got, you know, that kind of stuff that I've got to get done, where I've got to have a professional. There's so many jobs I'm taking on. I'm like, I'll go and build a deck because they're telling me how to do it and stuff. But there's certain things, like I'm not going to try and rebuild my porch. So I will definitely hire, you know, and same thing. At first, when I was doing the deck, I was like, oh, I'm fucking mastering this shit. I was ready to take on building a deck out back, build on a whole, like, build on for the room. And, you know, when I was sitting out there and manifesting it, because you just go out and you start seeing it and experiencing it. You start seeing it, experiencing it, and pretending like it's there, basically. So going and sitting and doing those sunsets, right, and looking out and stuff. I was really thinking I'll just go out there and I'll build it myself. But then once I started seeing, like, oh my gosh, you got to put a big giant board. You got to go like 6 feet off the ground. This huge long board, you got to have it up there. You got to use these giant bolts to go through the foundation of the house to get it to hold on and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's probably a bigger job. I can't get a bigger job. I can't get too arrogant with my unknowing how to do construction. So, anyways, this year I'm definitely gonna work on my book. Oh, the Jubilee thing too. So I think it's going to be happening, and I think it's going to be, you know, the house will be mine, and then I'll just work on Airbnb in it and use that as passive income to travel, and then plus get this stuff done on it, which I don't know. I really think there's going to be a lot of money that they're going to be giving for people to do stuff on their houses and stuff. They're going to be helping people get situated after this. It's like coming out of a war. We're coming out of a war. And you know, thinking about the Holocaust thing, it's just funny because we're going full circle on that, you know. We're playing that out like I've talked about before. Like, you think about the Nazis, the oppressors, you know, it's switched roles. Like, not everybody was there, obviously. There's way more people, but that energy, you know, it has switched, so you're playing the other side, so you get the full view of the cycle. And in this, there's so many going full circle and or full cycle, whatever. And because this is a closing of a chapter, it's the closing of an age, so all of these things are wrapping up, different soul cycles and stuff. But one of them is the Holocaust, and it is during, like, we're having this war of breaking freedom, and it really was a lot of it for our people who are here right now, even though a lot of them have died. It really was starting for all of us during that time, right? Because that's when they really started showing their hand on tyranny and control and taking over the world. So it's been a process that we've kind of all been blind to, but now that it's been opened up to us, now we can see it clearly. But yeah, this year I'm gonna just empower myself to do those things and start taking control over what I want. And I just started noticing every day I would be talking to somebody or something, and I would constantly be like, yeah, I'm a beach person. I would rather be living on a beach and stuff like that. And it's like, how many times you gotta say it before you're like, why am I here? Why am I not on a beach? Like, what? Like, I don't know. That is part of the awakening, though, is when we start becoming present and, like, you know, I'm living this life that is not necessarily how I want to be living. So why? Why am I living this way? And, you know, this whole time I wanted this to just be a vacation home. And then we got locked down and it had to become, you know, my jail. So you know, and it's been a process, and I have learned a lot being in isolation. I mean, it's completely changed, you know, my whole being. Like, I feel so much more like I've connected to my higher self. I feel like that the Kelly I was isn't even who I am anymore. Like, I'm connected to my higher self now. I'm looking down at every situation, which, you know, when I have that perspective all the time in my mind. And so for this, you know, what we got going here in our little ice sickle place is I keep seeing it as in the twilight zone. Sometimes you would be showing things from above and you would look down and you'd see like these little pockets, just like the little experiment pockets, because we're all in these different realities. We think we're all in the same one, but we're not. We're just all in this same time space, kind of, but we're all living all different realities. And they're trying to direct it so much with this box that keeps in our house. So they try and direct, you know, they use our consciousness to direct the collective, even to collect the, like they do control, like how they're controlling the weather, they control the climate of our consciousness. So it's all their same energy. It's all about control and their deviant behavior, right? So, you know, the whole time I had wanted to not have this be my permanent residence. You know, I've always been way more of like, I get the snowbird thing. Again, plus I'm from the South. I like warmer climate. This is freaking hellacious to me. There's no accident that this whole time I've started really realizing like, oh my God, we are in hell. The vibration and what we would perceive how to be, this is hell. I mean, you can sit there and talk to somebody and, you know, trying to save them, and, you know, they basically punch you in the face and spit on you. It's like very frustrating. That's hellacious, you know. Anyways, so there were so many things I was talking about. I told you when I ever started, I was like ready to go on this journey, because I know I'm scattered. I'm really, really super tired too. Last night I stayed up, didn't stay up till midnight, but I had, you know, wanted some champagne, so I went in an awkward ride with a neighbor, and it was very nice and stuff, and went and got some champagne and came home, and I had like, I think I had like 2 glasses, but it was like over 5 hours. I must like take a little sip, you know, just to have a little taste and just sit and relax, and, you know, so take 5 hours, and, you know, to drink whatever, 2 glasses, I think. And but, you know, it was like, oh well, you know, I'm just gonna sit here and then enjoy myself, you know. And then, but I always, when I stay up late, I always know I'm gonna be tired the next day because Stella gets up like clockwork. And so, you know, at 3:30, she started waking up, and then 4:30 she wanted out, and then 5:30 or whatever, then she's up crying, and, you know, trying to wake me up. So, but a lot of the time I was just laying in there because there wasn't enough time to even get to sleep between all of her different interactions. So I was laying in there thinking, oh, and I was thinking about these different aches and pains in my body, and this is like they showed me this visual in my head. And so, you know, like how a modem is, oh gosh, my knees are so stiff. You know how a modem, when you plug it in, how the lights go up? So it was showing me kind of like if you were looking inside of a body, and so you're thinking about yourself like taking control of your own energy, of your own power. You're not trying to please others. You're not putting it out there and stuff. You're pulling it in. You're healing. You're doing all of this stuff, right? You're pulling in because there's so much when we're not healed and we're trying to please others that is giving our power away. I lived the fucking life of it. So when you pull it into yourself, it is it's empowering, and it turns other parts of you on. So what they were showing me was like kind of like a circuit board. Like if you think of us inside as a circuit board, but you start with your healing, right? And so you start the little spark, your soul starts like, woo, we're on this now. And it starts, you know, kind of like a light bulb, like not plugged in, not just zap on, but where, you know, like if you were using like a bicycle to try and light a light bulb, how it would kind of like start coming on and get brighter, right? So your soul, like when you start connecting, your soul starts doing that. Like, oh, hell yeah. Which I will say real quick too, when your soul, and I've talked about this before, but I'll just say it again real quick, is like when you get up and dance, like if you just get up and dance, that, your soul, that is what comes to life. Like your soul loves to dance, and you connect with your soul. Like, and to me, how I learned to do it was, you know, snap your fingers to the music, and you start getting the beat, and then you start moving, and you know, close your eyes and just start feeling it, and you start becoming one with the music. Like your soul connects to the music, and you start moving. And I'm telling you, the vibration and the stuff you put out from connecting with your soul like that, the energy you put out is it's a lot. Is that connection. But so you go in and you start connecting, like you start pulling out of this, you know, controlled environment they've created for you. And you start feeling like there's an inner calling, an inner voice hollering at you. So you start connecting with it. And there's light bulb, like that bike going, and the light bulb starts, you know, trying to come on, and sometimes it may come on really strong, and then other times you may completely doubt, and it just goes back to being dim, and you know, but it's non-stop hollering at you. You won't be able to get away from that. Once you've opened up the window, the door, once you've heard the voice, once you've felt the calling, you'll hear it louder and louder and louder. You can't get away from it. So the more you connect, the more it comes on. Well, as it comes on, so then they showed me like it was like the chakras, but they showed it like a modem, but they were all different colors like that. But then that turns on this chakra, you know, and it depends on like, just same thing on the modem, how this one will start blinking, and that one will blink, then this one will come on solid, then this one's blinking. It's the same thing when you start doing the work. You know, you're kind of working and moving around in the chakra system, you know, turning them on, and you know, they're triggering things. So as all of that is occurring, you have other things inside of you, inside of your body, that starts turning on and waking up and stuff. And you start, it's weird because it feels to me kind of like the more you connect with your soul, and like I've said before, the more it starts feeling like there is nothing holding you. Like I've even felt myself come out. Oh, which by the way, this was trippy. So I was just sitting here this morning, And I was sitting on the chair, and all of a sudden, and the dogs were out here, and all of a sudden there was like this crash noise in my bedroom. And Trixie was laying across from me, and she looked over real quick, or she might have been right here, I don't know. But she looked over real quick to look and see, and I looked over, and when I did, I saw a black shadow like come out of my room, and I saw it go across the hall. And the way the light was hitting into the hall, I could see this black shadow go across, and it came up to the edge of the hall, right across from where I'm right now. And it kind of was staying there. I could watch the shadow go across this light thing, and it was like, what the fuck, are my eyes playing tricks on me? Like, but then when it got up to where the edge of the hall was, I could see smoke. And so I started talking. You know, you use telepathy when you're talking to them. You can talk out loud too, but you don't have to, because they can hear you with your projecting your mind. So I started asking them like what they were doing, what they were here, show themselves and stuff like that. And I told them, you know, all I can see is like a haze. I see a haze, but they said they were just here to watch. And I was like, okay, well, you know, that's fine. You sit and watch. Just don't interfere with, you know, energetically. That's why you got to set these, when you're dealing with spirits and other energies and energetic forms, you got to set, you know, boundaries. That's why you got to know your own power and stuff. That's how we are being manipulated at this time. It's because people don't know their own power. Yesterday I was talking, my one daughter was all upset because Betty White died. I was like, don't be upset. Geez, she lived a long time. She's left a great legacy. You know, she, you know, made a lot of people happy. She lived such a long time. And, you know, that's something we should celebrate in life. I mean, death isn't real. It's not real. It's a transition. You know, she had to stop being Betty White at some point. She can stay Betty White for eternity. And then, and my daughter's just like, oh, you know, if you say so. Like, she just doesn't even, it doesn't even at all sink into her that we are eternal beings, that we have a soul or any of it. That's how cut off people are from it. They don't feel it. They don't even recognize it. They can't. And then she was just like, you know, feeling like, you know, how sad it is. Just like, that's how this is how it has been for humans. They've been so tricked. It's so sad if somebody dies, especially somebody who's lived a long, long time. Even somebody who's very young and dies. I mean, to me, it's kind of like you get kind of jealous, like, man, they really wrapped this up quick, didn't they? Like, they were on it. They got their shit done. Because once you finish what you came here to do, you go. You don't just, people just have such a different idea of what life is about and what life is for and everything. It's just, it's so, to me it's so strange, but, you know, I've known it since I was little. And just like when, you know, they were trying to get me to believe religion, and I was like, but it doesn't make any sense. And it didn't matter how many people thought I was crazy and stuff when I was saying there was aliens and, you know, there's reincarnation. You're born over and over again. You've been a lot of different people, and people thought I was like a mad person, like a crazy person. I just think it's funny too, and I know I've talked about this before too, is as we're going into a new age, because when they started labeling us back, us people who were like, we believed in God, but we wouldn't go under a religion, and we started getting called spiritual, and then, you know, there's people who started understanding about energy and the power of energy and crystals, and, you know, people started learning about yoga and healing and chakras and all that stuff, that they, you know, it expanded so much. It is I mean, it's really huge. Spirituality is, it's so much more. It's so much about connecting with your mind, body, spirit, and living a certain way and stuff. It's just, it's like really walking the walk, and not just talking the talk, like which religion had become so much. But they labeled it as the new age. And it became like, oh, you're a new age. They make fun of it in shows and movies and stuff. I'm sure everyone has seen that, you know, and I was one of those weirdo people that people would make fun of it and stuff. And I think that now, because I didn't even know, you know, about the ages then, and that we were moving into a new age and stuff. I didn't know that. I just knew that religion was a lie, and there was a God, and it was up to me to connect with him. There was nobody giving me guidance on that, and I had to figure it out for myself. And this whole thing about the new age, you know, I mean, there was the label, but now we're moving into a new age. But it's all of those ways of being, it's like the ingredients to the recipe. What you learn in spirituality as you're moving into the new age, it's the lifestyle, it's the way to be. And, you know, you don't have to, you know, gather all the crystals and, you know, do your yoga and all that stuff. At some point, you probably will want to do some of that stuff. But it is, you know, you don't have to run out and do all of these, you know, and then I'm spiritual, because that's what's being taught here. And it isn't about that. Like, I was spiritual for a long time and didn't even know about yoga and chakras, and it is just your own personal connection to what's out there, the higher, you know, the higher state of being, the Christ consciousness, the universe, whatever you want to think of it as. It is your own personal connection to that, and it's the waking up of your own soul. And like I've said, you know, the dancing is a great thing. Like, you will really feel your soul come to life when you just let go and dance. Just let go and feel the music, and you will feel your soul come to life. And, you know, and then also if you're trying to do your ego work and stuff like that, just notice, how do I look at this person? How do I look at that person? Am I constantly telling everybody else how to fix themselves, what to do, and I'm sitting back as the director of life? Because then I'm living in fear. I've got to control everybody else so I don't have to feel scared. And everybody needs to be the way I think, because I know best for everyone, and all of that stuff. Like, and that is, those are all things to work through. It is just part of the process. Like, don't get caught up and hung up on judging yourself. Like, oh, this is, because it is hard. That's why it's such a joke that they're sitting here saying, yeah, just turn on do your affirmations and all that stuff, and you'll ascend. It's like, no, that's not what ascension is. Ascension is the process. Ascension is the releasing, the letting go, the connecting. It's the process. It's the path. It's the road to enlightenment. It is all of those things. It isn't just, you know, put in a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then you're set. No. It's like, you got to go out, you got to grow the carrots and potatoes, you got to do the dirt, you got to grow them, you got to process them, you got to come in, you got to clean them, you got to cook them, you got to, I mean, it's a whole thing. And everybody just always wants to skip to the good part. But you will not be able to, it'll be a very frustrating place to be, and I am witnessing it. It's a very frustrating place to be when you haven't done the work. And a lot of people, if you were really caught up in ego and arrogance, you think you've done the work. And that is going to even be more frustrating. You're going to be blaming, oh, I can feel better if you would change. I can feel better if you would change. That's where, bring it back to self and start thinking like, oh, why do I need them to do that? Why would I think that? And then just, I'm telling you, the more that you heal, the more you just find like, why do we even talk? Like, why? Why do we even, I mean, some of the stuff is just so, you know, it's ridiculous. It's like we talk because we want attention. We talk because we need to process something. We talk because we need to control somebody else. We talk because we need to give our opinions. It's like, when you really start questioning, and that's the whole thing to me, is part of it. It's just starting to question things, just starting to stand back and look at things differently. Oh, when I was going to say about the Twilight Zone thing. So in the Twilight Zone, when he would be up there looking down, I keep seeing this where we are, as like this little ice patch, you know, all the little tiny ants scurrying around and the chaos and stuff. And I just feel like we're in an episode of Twilight Zone. I completely feel like we are. If you're up there watching, that's what they are seeing, and it is part of the experiment. It's part of, so that your higher self can view and witness and be, it's like that they can partake in a situation by going into a physical form, but they can't put their whole self into physical form. They can't create a whole physical form like that. They have to have these different realities to go in and put themselves into to experience. And so when you're not in an experience, you know, you can go create whatever experiences, but when you're not in one, just like all of these people who are all around us, you're out there as one of them. You're a cheering section for somebody. You're a guide for somebody else. You're directing somebody else. You're in trying to help your grandchildren, you know, years down, you know, in your ancestral line. You know, hundreds and hundreds of years later, your great, you're up there cheering them on. Like, that is what you do when you're not here. So there's always people out there, you know, communicating with us and giving us guidance and telling us what to do. And when you connect with them, they are constantly giving you direction and telling you things and showing things. Just like when they were showing me about how this circuit board inside of us is coming to life, and it's like feeling it firing up. Oh yeah, and another thing I wanted to add in too, when I saw the guy, or whoever it was, this being, whatever, this smoky person who was over there, I started realizing, like, oh my gosh, I constantly see smoky people. And I keep thinking it's something with my eyes, because I'm sure I talked about this before, but when it was, I don't know, like 3 years ago, I think, and I decided it would be more fulfilling, and my doctor told me, because I was coming out of that depression and I was on medicine, and she's like, you know, you need some kind of purpose. You know, you need to volunteer something. You need to do something. And so I started volunteering and going down and holding, it was a place where it was called the Vanessa B. Hand Center. It was like a woman who, like a single mom in crisis, can be like, oh my God, I'm going to freaking beat the shit out of my kid if I don't come and drop him off. And this place is like, bring him here. And so that's kind of like the people who you have. There is, you know, a lot of people struggling and dropping their kids off. So I would go there and hold the babies and play with the little kids and stuff like that. And, but I would do it right at the nap time, because the volunteers went in 4-hour sections at all different times, and mine was during lunch. So you'd go in and you'd help them eat, and then you'd help them go down for a nap. And so sometimes you just sit and rock a baby for a long time. And when I was sitting there is when I started seeing, like, the smoke around. And when I was telling one of my friends, and this is somebody who I was just starting to learn about Reiki and energy and stuff, and she was telling me about, you know, this kind of like, she was holding a baby and she was rocking it, and she started coming out of her body, because the baby's energy is constantly going out. They don't stay in their body when they're asleep. And she said, it started pulling mine, and I started feeling that and going into this other place where it started looking smoky. And I said, oh, weird, because when I came out of my body when I was a kid, that's how I noticed something was weird, because I was walking around and everything was really smoky, and I was thinking, how is everything so smoky? This is so weird. And so, like, in these other realms you can go to, and your consciousness, when you're in some kind of state, and when you come out of your body, I guess maybe it's in this time space, but when you come out of your body and you're not in the optic illusion, like, I don't really understand how it all works, but anyways, it's really smoky. So when she told me that, I was like, oh, and I'm sitting here rocking these babies, and all these babies, and I've come out of my body before, so it's easy to kind of pull out when you've already come out. Because when I was talking about that time when I was stretching, and I went right through because, you know, once you've come out, it's easier to come out somehow. So when I was sitting there rocking these babies, I would start feeling like I was going out of myself, and it would kind of feel like super, super tired, but it's hard to explain. But I would feel like I was going out of myself, and I would start feeling pulled, and I would start seeing smoke everywhere, and I would have to shake myself awake, and I would have to be like, you know, get it together, Kelly. You're gonna freaking just pull right out of your body and even drop a baby. And so, you know, but I started really noticing the smoky thing. But this morning when I saw that guy, then I was like, I wonder how many times, because I've been sitting here so many times and I keep seeing different smoky kind of things around, and I kept thinking, man, am I disconnecting from my body? Like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? How am I going into some other realm? Like, what's happening here? Like, that's the kind of shit I keep wondering. Like, why does this guy look different? Last night when I went to the store, when he drove me up to the market, it was, the sky was pink clouds, the big giant illumination disc, pink clouds everywhere. And he grew up in San Diego, so he knows what in California, what the sky is like. He knows it's all toxins and poisons. And so seeing it here, and I started saying, you know, this is like Southern California, all these poisons and stuff in the sky. Look at the colors and stuff. And he was like, yeah. But I don't think people see it on the same level as what I see it. Because to me, it's like, you know, this is the poisons that they are putting in this sky to kill us. You know, and everybody's getting sick and stuff like that. It's just like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, the sky totally looked weird. But it does feel like that. Like, I'm constantly questioning, like, what is going on here? Like, if this is all, like, not real, how is the sky changing? And how are some of the people not seeing it? Like, it's very confusing. But, so, feeling like I keep coming out of my body and all these weird things keep happening that I've never experienced before. And so yeah, when I keep seeing this smoky thing, now I'm going to start thinking, because I'm half blind anyways, it's so hard to see. My eyes are under such strain. You know, by the end of the evening, I'd have to have all the lights off. I can't even handle it, and I need to just shut my eyes because it's so straining to have them constantly trying to adjust and see when they can't. Everything is just a blur. Everything is just, it's like everything is fuzzy everywhere. I can't see, and then I have blind spots like below me and stuff. It's hard because even just walking around, and then the dogs are under my feet and I don't see them. But that's why I've got to do the yoga and stuff, is because it helps my core. I can catch myself. I don't fall now. Now I have a stronger core, and I did all that by being here during this isolation. You know, I started really doing my own like physical therapy on my hip when I had fallen the last time and I hurt my hip. I started doing my own physical therapy, doing my own yoga, and got my own self strong. And I started realizing, you know, building the deck and stuff, how easy it is to lose your strength. You got to put the effort in, and that's all part of the mind, body, spirit too. So that's what I'm saying. All of this stuff all goes together to me, like things that happen in my life and things that they tell me, and things all start fitting together. And there was another, I don't remember. I'll just wrap this up with this because I don't remember if I even finished what I said I was going to do about this year. But, you know, part of it was to get the van and drive around. But if everything starts opening up more, like right now already, without that, you can't go out to plays and stuff here. You can't go to certain places if you're not with this. And, you know, it's going to probably turn into where we can't buy food if we're not. So, you know, that could happen over the next few months. I don't know. I don't know how bad things are going to get. But I have one daughter who was all excited, like, oh my gosh, yes, I always thought why are you not on a beach? And so she's all excited about me wanting to move because I'm going to Costa Rica. I'm going to move over to the beach over there and just, yeah, be out there as a crazy woman on the beach with my dog. I don't care. And work on my book. And, you know, just go start living, no matter how weird it is, just go start living the life I want to live, which, you know, listening to myself talk, it's like, I want to live on a beach. I don't want to be gathering firewood and all of this stuff and foraging. I'd rather go out and collect seashells and eat snails, I guess. So, anyways, that's going to be what I'm going to be working on. But I got to see, like, she's going to help me, because I got to see about, like, how does it work with visas? How do you just go over there, like, if I'm going to be there a certain amount of time, like, and then we don't know about all the restrictions yet. So if all of that stuff is still interfering with 2022, then, yeah, I'm just going to get that motorhome and drive around until I can go. That's what I've decided. I'm going to start living my life in all the ways I want to. Stop with this, you know, feeling like trapped. And that's what this whole time has been giving me. And then living for other people and trying to please other people. And all of those things have all been a part of my 2020 and 2021. And realizing how people see me and, you know, seeing, you know, a lot of things in people that you didn't know were there. They don't even know is there. But, you know, it's been part of the process, part of the healing process for me. And I know a lot of it too is, it is so I can keep sharing it. It is to keep documenting this, because I think it is going to help some people, because I think that we all kind of go through similar shit. And we all kind of need, like, a light held at the path, because, I mean, still, you talk to people who are not on any path, they're still like, well, I need to go to the medical, I need to go to school, I need to, you know, just get more in their system, more in, you know, I need to dig in and get in there, you know, and it's part of this whole arrogant, woke, I'm better than you, you know, you don't deserve First Amendment rights only if you believe what I believe, and, you know, stuff like that. But it's an energy that we're breaking free from as conscious beings. And, you know, some people, we just gotta watch them slowly do it. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can, except for do stuff like this. Put it out here so you're not telling someone, you're putting it out there so someone can go like, it's for the seekers, you know? Yeah, a lot of people, they just want to be the teachers, and they don't ever want to be the learner. But it's for the people who are out there being like, I want to be a learner. I want to be an explorer. I want to understand myself. I want to understand what's going on in this world. I want to understand, how do I connect to myself? I want to see, like, why is this world seem crazy now? And all of those things, you know? We need people who are willing to put themselves out there and be called crazy, so that we can, you know, find some kind of light in this hard path that we're going through, in the changing of the ages, in this transition, because it is very, very difficult to be told all the time that your inner voice is just crazy. You shouldn't be listening to it. If you are talking to people who aren't there, you probably need to be medicated. I mean, we're coming out of that, and then going and doing it and feeling like, you know, automatically in our head, it's going to be like, okay, crazy person. Okay, quit being crazy. You know, so it's a lot. It's a lot for yourself to begin to have the confidence in yourself, in what you believe and what your inner knowing tells you, and to not believe what they're telling you, because everything they're telling you is lies, and there's a lot of people who believe all the fucking lies. So, you know, if you are breaking free from that, like, more power to you. And even, you know, even the focusing on spirituality, even if it is still, you know, the ego work isn't done in there, you know, that's their process to go through, you know. That's some dark stuff that they're going to have to face in themselves. And, you know, it's like, you got to release it. And know, you know, the universe is working. It's doing its part. It's, you know, whatever that soul came in to experience and learn, that's what they're going to experience and learn. And whatever you are getting from them, that is what you were meant to get from them. We don't have to go in and change anything else. And so any of the people, no matter what, if they're connecting with their inner, I mean, that's just remarkable for us to just get to that point where more people are doing that, even if it's a clumsy, sloppy fucking process at first. You know, we just have to, if you're ahead on the trail, just remember to just release it, let it go. You know, they're stumbling through this, and you know, we can't get caught up, can't sit and throw gravel at them while they're freaking trying to, you know, climb this. It's like climbing. I'm seeing like the side of a mountain kind of thing, you know, those rock climbers when they go up and they get to the top and so they can go and look at, it's called something, I can't think of what the word is, when they look out and see the world and the whole landscape of everything. And it's kind of like you're climbing that, you know, and it's an obstacle course. And there's parts that you're going through the clouds. You can't even see what's up ahead. You have no idea. And it can kick your ass at any time. And you just have to keep pulling from your inner strength. Just keep your resilience, keep your endurance, and just keep going. Keep your inner knowing. Trust yourself, love yourself, do your healing, all of those things. And, you know, and it's going to feel clumsy and sloppy a lot of the times, but it's a process. Just like, oh, update on the honey, and then I'm going to go. So I did the honey, right? And then I did, because I usually wash my hair like every other day, not every day, but the bottom of my hair, it's like down to my waist, and I can't see down here. And so when I'm doing things like doing cleaning or whatever, the kitchen or whatever, my hair, like, I won't even realize my hair's in the sink with the dishes. Sounds gross, but I won't realize until I go sit back down, and then my hair's wet and hanging on me, and I'm like, oh, God, I did it again. When I'm thinking about it, when I'm present, you know, when I'm thinking it through, I will put my hair up and stuff, but I don't always think of it. Sometimes I'm just standing there and I see some dishes and start doing them, and then I find my hair is in it. So sometimes by the second day, the bottom of my hair is just like, it needs to get washed. It gets more dangly and stuff. But it's for stupid shit like that, like it's hanging in something. Like that one time when I would start hanging over the candle and I wasn't even thinking about it. And then they told me, like, watch out, your hair is in the candle and you're going to burn it. I'm like, oh, thank you. So I'm not paying attention. But that's why it's good to connect with them, because they are paying attention, because they're up here looking down, telling you. So that's why it's very handy when you connect with them, because they will tell you. And they can see ahead. They'll tell you, like, when you need an umbrella, when you need your galoshes on, they'll tell you. So, anyways, so on the honey, so I washed it the one day, and so when I very first did it, it was kind of like I wasn't sure, and then later in the day, I was kind of like, oh, I like it. It gave it where it felt clean, but it felt kind of like you could move it, like my hair's fine, so I'll push it back, and it'll just go right back. But like I could push it back and it would stay back, like it had more texture to it or something. So I was like, oh, I kind of like that. But then by last night, it was like, I felt like it just looked like greasy, and it felt like really tangly. So today I washed it with detergents, regular old shampoo, and I think I will try the honey thing again. I think it will help to just try, and the more I can wean myself off of it. But we're so, like I said, we're so used to, you know, the good smells, good tastes and stuff. Because one thing I've noticed too with the creamer, because this creamer situation, you know, I've been dealing with this for a while. I've been bitching about it. So again, last night I ended up, I did a grocery order because somebody was going to town and they picked up some groceries. I thought I had gotten my creamer. And they get the things, I'm unloading it, there's no creamer. I'm going in and looking, and it's like, oh my God. And while I'm in there looking at my thing, and I must have somehow didn't get the creamer on my thing. I don't know how it happened. But my neighbor started saying, oh, do you want to go to the store? I'm going to go to the store. So I was like, well, I do want to go get creamer and champagne. So I went up there, and it was so expensive that I got half and half. And then plus they only had like 3 flavors of coffee mate, and they're all disgusting for a tea drinker. I was like, whoa. So I got half and half is so bland tasting. But see, what I'm saying is about getting more into the more natural, like the less processed, the less chemicals. When we want things that have like basic ingredients, we don't want a bunch of chemical compounds and the stuff that we're putting into our bodies, on our bodies, any of it. So I got the half and half, but before that, my neighbor, because he was out and he knew I was out of creamer, and he had brought me the plain coffee mate. And for my emergency stuff, I had the powder plain coffee mate, and also a caramel one, but it's gross. It's like so fake tasting. And anyways, so while I've been making my tea, and I've been putting it in without any kind of sweetener in the creamer or whatever it is that you put in. And I put honey in my tea every morning, and I have a blend of spices that I made. It's kind of like chai spices, but it's all stuff for like anti-inflammatory. It's all healthy stuff. And you put like turmeric and honey. It's really, really good for you. And I've been doing that. And so I drink that on my tea, and I'll put a lot of honey. And I cannot get it even close to as sweet as those creamers that you get. Especially, it just keeps being more noticeable. Like I had half and half now because it was so much cheaper than the coffee mates. The coffee mate up there, the small one, was $6.50 at the gas station up here, and half and half, regular old half and half, the small one was $4. So I got the half and half, and I had my tea, you know, and then I put in all that honey, and it's like, oh my God, there's no sweetness. So I think if we saw how much, you know, a lot of those, they'll have like 3 different sweeteners in them. 3 different things, like glucose, they'll have, just read them. They'll have so many different ones, but I think if we actually made that, we saw how much was in it, I bet you it's like a fucking cup. You put like a cup of sugar in your tea every morning or something for how much sugar that we drink in those things. And so I think we're just so used to these artificial smells, these artificial tastes, this everything, that it's hard to break free. Just like, you know, having our hair clean and detergent, you know, and people want all this deodorant. I can't wear deodorant. It's itchy. It's, you know, it's full of chemicals. And I just think there's so many chemicals in all our stuff. And I think part of the awakening is starting to notice your own body intolerance of certain ones. And, you know, it's just being aware of the different chemicals that you're ingesting and trying to move more free away from them. But it's a process. It's definitely a process. I mean, we're trying to break free from stuff that we've been doing our whole entire lives. And for me, that's 60 years. So, anyways, I've been talking now an hour. So happy New Year. Hopefully, you know, everybody is ready to empower themselves this year, and we're just ready to break free and, you know, start living the way we want to live and move towards how we want to live. And, you know, because we create the change we want. So, you know, that's what I'm hoping for everybody in 2022, that we all start just really empowering ourselves and moving towards the life and the lifestyles that we all want for ourselves, and our inner knowing, our inner calling, in our soul's language. So anyways, have a great, you know, let's start this year out good. And I will talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.